Oh yeah. I'm back at you with another video. It's Olo. What's going on, my brothers and sisters? You already know what it is. Here for some more information, some more education. I'm always keep it brief like usual, man. I don't want to make these videos too long and just talk your head off. It's always brief like I always say, but I gotta put it out there. So, what's today's topic? Mental fortitude. And you're gonna see like this all, like I said, I'm always saying it all ties into correcting your status and just life in general. You know what I'm saying? It's for everybody. It doesn't necessarily have to be, because I know everybody's not on that journey. So, but that's in my particular case. But anyway, mental fortitude, that's very important. What is mental fortitude? It's the psychological and emotional strength to navigate challenges, maintain purpose, and make a conscious choice for a fulfilling life. Well said. That's like the perfect definition. So that's basically like keeping a sound mind and being strong minded and staying focused through adversities, especially if you got a purpose. This is mainly for people that have a purpose driven. You have a vision, you are purpose driven, and you know how to take the steps to get there, and you're just focused. You know what to do. You might fall off every now and then. Nobody's perfect, man. We all need help in this world, especially our brothers and sisters, where everything conspired against us. But mental fortitude, that's very important. So you navigating around the obstacles and staying focused and purpose driven. That's the main thing of mental fortitude. So mental fortitude describes a quality of inner resilience. That's another word I like, resilience. That word resilience, that describes me in a nutshell. Like I've been through so much in my life and I bounced back from it. I could confidently say that I'm a very resilient person. So resilience, that's being determined and pushing through everything and just coming out on top. And people see that. You know what I'm saying? And that builds character, that builds so much inner strength, it just builds so many qualities inside you that it's just an amazing thing, bro. Resilience. So that's very important too. The capacity to remain steady and purposeful when faced with life inevitable difficulties, like we said before, challenges. You gotta. It's like basically staying grounded and focused. Like even if something throws you off a little bit, because that's what it's gonna do. You can't have no. There's no growth without a little bit of suffering. You see what I'm saying? Without a little bit of struggle. Everything. If you have purpose and you going somewhere, you're gonna have growing pain. Especially if you like me, like breaking generational curses and breaking out of ways of thinking. Like I told you in the next video, we're gonna touch on that. That's extremely important. Breaking out of ways of thinking. That's a must in this society because we are under attack up here. You see what I'm saying, my people? Like, you gotta break out of ways of thinking. So, staying focused, resilient, when you're purpose driven, even if you stray off a little bit, when you're facing life's inevitable difficulties. When they say inevitable, mean is bound to happen. You're gonna, and like I said, the comeback is stronger than the setback. So remember that. The building blocks of inner strength. Developing mental fortitude is an active process of building specific psychological skills and habits, self awareness, and emotional regulation. So, mental fortitude is like, is definitely psychological. So, when you build those psychological skills that you acquired through your journey, through like going to your purpose, that sticks with you, and it's sort of like muscle memory. When you're training, it's like anything, like muscle memory. When you train it, it's a psychological skill. You gain the skills, and you always stay with those skills, and you use it every time a situation arises because you already built it. You see what I'm saying? So that's very important. This building blocks of psychological skills and habits, self awareness, and emotional regulation. That's important too. That goes into emotional intelligence. That's something I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the worst, but I'm not the best. I gotta work on that emotional regulation. But I did learn a lot along the years with going through certain situations, circumstances, and I'm able to regulate my emotions to a degree. But like I said, I still got things to work on. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not perfect. I'm gonna be totally transparent with you. Like I'm gonna be totally honest with you. There's certain things I gotta work, but most things I do. I can regulate my emotions. I'm not like that all across the board, but that's important. So emotional regulation. And okay, so at the heart of mental fortitude is the ability to understand and manage one's own internal state. Thus begins with self-awareness. So, like we said before, it's psychological skills. You gotta be self-aware. You gotta know what triggers you, how you respond to this. You just gotta know yourself. That goes into mental fortitude. Mental fortitude is self-awareness. So when you know yourself, you know how to respond to things in this way, and you have the skills because you already built that up to know how to respond to that in a way where it's not detrimental. You see what I'm saying? So that's very important. This awareness creates the space necessary for emotional regulation. Like we said before, emotional regulation. The role of personal values in a sustainable life, a strong sense of personal values provide a compass for navigating life's decisions. When your actions are aligned with your core beliefs, you experience a greater sense of purpose and integrity. So, everything has to be aligned with what your purpose is. If it's not aligned with your purpose, then you got to get it out the way. It don't matter if it's people, if it's a habit, if it's a vice, if it's a way of thinking. It could be you. It's not always outside. You know, it's not always external, outside factors. It could be you. So you got to be have everything in line with your core beliefs and values and your purpose, and you take that all in one and just make sure you stay focused. That's all with mental fortitude. Mental fortitude is just going through. It's a tedious task. It's like with anything, man. You gotta work on this. You gotta. It's like a muscle. You gotta work on it. Psychological skills, like we mentioned earlier. You gotta work on that, and then everything has to be aligned. You see what I'm saying? You gotta learn how to navigate through situations, applying that skill that you learn, applying that knowledge, applying whatever you learn with developing mental fortitude. You got to apply that in every single situation that's going to benefit you in your purpose, and everything has to be aligned. The following list outlines key aspects of this connection. Values as a guide when you are clear about what is most important to you. So values, that's very important. What's important to you? What's your values? What are your core beliefs? What do you value? Not just, vain shit, materialistic stuff. Those things have value, but come on. Gotta be deeper than that. Talking about inner strength. You, the core inner being of you. What are your values when it pertains to that? Not outside external materialistic vain stuff. Those, I'm not saying those are not important, because we all like nice things. We all like shiny things, including me. But what are your core values? That ties into mental fortitude too. Consistency and commitment. Living a sustainable lifestyle also often requires a series of small, consistent choices over a long period of time. So let me break that down, right? See, mental fortitude is not just, straining your brain. Sometimes you got to take it easy. That right there is important, because you don't want to burn out. You don't want to, you got to think about your mental health. So when it says a small, consistent steps towards your purpose, your goal, all of that adds up. See, people think they got to just, one big step, I got to rush it. No. You don't want to do that. You want to take your time. Don't take too much time. Don't procrastinate. I'm not saying that. Get on your job, get on your grind, but those small steps are important, because those small steps equals the big steps. And before you know it, you'll have a whole bunch of goals accomplished. You see what I'm saying? And I'm a firm believer in that, because I do the same thing. When I'm always thinking like, damn, I haven't got this accomplished, but I'm always doing little by little, day by day, and that adds up to the big goals. You see what I'm saying? It says small, consistent choices over a long period of time. You'll look back at your life and you'll see how much you accomplished, all because you made those small steps. It doesn't always have to be a big. It can be, if it's like that, but just as long as you're making progress in small steps consistently every day. You see what I'm saying? So that's another thing with mental fortitude. Authenticity and well-being. Acting in alignment with your values contributes to a sense of authenticity and personal satisfaction. So everything got to be authentic. Everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? What aligns with you might not align with somebody else. So you got to make sure whatever aligns to you, and that brings out the authenticity of you. And then, like I said, it contributes to a sense of personal satisfaction. Absolutely, I'm a firm believer in that, because I always feel like that. Whenever I align myself with my core values and I do that with my purpose, I feel a sense of personal satisfaction. I feel good. You know what I'm saying? Because it's actually aligned with me, with whatever my beliefs are and values. So there you have it. That's mental fortitude. We touched on numerous topics. We went into a little, depth about how to develop mental fortitude and the skills and everything is psychological. And that's it, brief synopsis all the time, my people, and we're going to close out. That's mental fortitude. Ola.